Hey guys, Michael back here. In today's video, it's going to be a different type of video than what I've done. Normally I'll post replays and I'll have a commentary on them. But as you can see in this video is about 30 minutes long. The reason is because that's going to be both the state of World of Tanks in 2020 video, and also ways on how we can get Wargaming to actually listen to the community. Now, I just finished watching about 20-25 minutes ago a video that Clone Guy posted called Operation Overhaul. And that's because he's watching the show. I don't know specifically what show it is, but it makes sense. You know, this guy, he's the villain in the show, or I don't remember what the exact explanation was, but apparently this guy can touch something and break it, and at the same time he can put it back together better than what it used to be. So, that being said, we can connect this to World of Tanks. Now, I'll start with the state of World of Tanks in 2019/2020, because we're only just beginning the year 2020. But I might as well make half of the video of that and half Operation Overhaul. So, the state of World of Tanks in 2020 is not good. It's not a grindable game anymore. This game is flooded with premium tanks. It's flooded with reskins. Update 4.12 specifically has ruined guns in the game. It's caused all sorts of new not glitches, but like bugs and that kind of stuff, etc., etc. Now, what kind of bugs and what kind of issues with the guns am I talking about, and what reskins am I talking about? Well, first off, I can name off quite a few reskins of tanks. You got the Freedom, which is the T26C4 Super Pershing reskin. I guess you can argue that the black tanks aren't necessarily reskins, more just better versions of themselves, I guess you could say. But they can't do that to the regular tank, apparently. You know, you have the T-34 black, you have the Lava black, you have the CDC black. But those are their own thing. Those are for sale only on Black Fridays. But you know, you got the Freedom, which is the T26E4 Super Pershing's reskin. We have, I believe it's like 4 or 5 different reskins of the Type 59. You know, we have the normal Type 59, and then the tank that I have, which is the King Dragon, which is just a reskin, buffed, more beefy version of the Type 59. We just got a reskin of the Type 59 again, called the Type 59-2, which is, to begin with, a very cheesy name to name the tank. You know, Type 59-2. They could have just given the better gun to the Type 59 and it would have been perfectly fine, because the Type 59 isn't that terrible of a tank. It's just the gun. Like, the armor can work in tier 8s. It has the pen, but the gun is just so derpy. I mean, it has, I think, like a 2.7 or 2.9 second aim time, plus not that great of accuracy. And, you know, they're just milking us for money. And the thing is the people who can afford it are gonna keep buying it. You know, like, I can't say Super Unicums, because most of them understand, well, it's just a reskin. But what I can say is that people who just want to constantly put money into the game will just keep buying these reskins, and they're making it easy for that. Like, let's say, for example, let's make an example, okay? So, I have the FV 4202. Okay, the tier 10 British medium tank, or the new old British medium tank that's in the game now. And when they moved that thing down to tier 8, when they put in the Action X, they nerfed it heavily. Okay? So, what that did is that made two decisions that you can make. You could either get the 4202, which I think most people who had the 4202 at tier 10 got the tier 8 for free. But if they didn't, and let's say there was somebody who was on like the Centurion 7-1, like in the gameplay that is now, and they almost had the 4202 and they just needed that little bit more credits, they missed out on a tank. They removed the tank, and then they got given the Action X in its place. So, with them putting the 4202 down at tier 8, they put in, I think the Chieftain T95, I think it's called, which is another tier 8 British medium tank. And then not too long after they did that, they added a reskin of the Chieftain T95 that has no advantages over the standard Chieftain T95. It's the exact same tank. But, or at least to my knowledge, it's the exact same tank. I don't know if there's like slight DPM difference, slight pen, mobility, camo, I don't know. All I know is it's pretty much the same exact tank, but with a reskin version. It's just a reskin version. So, they milked us for money there. There's no reason to buy the reskin of it. I don't remember what the reskin is called. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But I know that it's not any better or any worse than the Chieftain T95. I know that for a fact shooting at it, it has a lot more trolley armor, but that's not because the armor is different. That's because it has like the sandbags and that kind of stuff all over it, which kind of makes certain parts look like armor that aren't really armor, and it's just spaced armor. But there's no advantage over the Chieftain T95 over those two and the reskin. So all they're doing is they could just keep adding in more and more and more reskins of tanks, and people just keep buying them. And this game is riddled with reskins, premium tanks. All they keep doing is adding in all sorts of premium tanks. Like, I guarantee you, 2 in every 3 players in this game have at least 1 or 2 premium tanks, be it they bought it or they earned it. It could be some players had absolutely no premium tanks until the Thunderbolt ISM VK30, what is it, the Sturm VK3601 H105 I think it's called, or something like that. You know, those could very well be the tanks that they earned. But I guarantee you, 2 in every 3 players in this who play this game have at least 1 or 2 premium tanks. Doesn't matter the tier, they have premium tanks. And that's the thing, is I think it's getting close to being there's more premium tanks in this game than there are standard tanks. And it's honestly sad, because that means all Wargaming want to do now is just get us to spend more and more money. Like, I've sold premium tanks because they're so bad before. For example, I bought the Object 907. Or I didn't buy it, I had the I free XP'd about 75,000 credits to get it when it was on, I think, like a 25% sale or something like that, back when it was 315,000 free XP. I free XP'd about and bought about, I'd say about 75 to 80,000 free XP. The rest I had. And that tank is so bad compared to its PC counterpart and compared to the other tier 10 Soviet medium tanks, I sold it. I saw more worth in, like, I think 4.48 mil credits that I could get from selling it than actually... I saw more in the credits I could get than I did in the actual tank. Don't get me wrong, it's a good tank in the right hands, and I played that tank really good. But it's just, it was so rare to get that one great game in the tank. compared to getting bad games, because it doesn't have the DPM. You know, its gun is just gone. And all Wargaming, sorry about the burp in advance. All Wargaming keep doing, or they're just adding in more and more and more premium tanks. And they're reskinning tanks, and they're nerfing tanks. I haven't seen a single buff, a single proper buff, that would make a tank legitimately better in this game for a while now. I think an update, what was it? I don't remember what update it was, but it was when the Super Conqueror and the WZ-111-5A were introduced. They nerfed, I think it was 210 or 310 tanks. And the 30B was one of them, I think. I'm not certain about that. But I know they nerfed a lot of tier 10 tanks. So don't quote me on anything I'm saying. This is from what I've played, what I've experienced, and what I've read online, and what I've heard in other YouTube videos, and this kind of stuff. But I know they nerfed a lot of tanks. And there has been a lot of backlash since then. I mean, the E50M got nerfed. A lot of people like the playstyle of the E50M. I myself included love the playstyle of the E50M. One of my buddies have it, and I play it a lot. And it just doesn't... It's meant to be a more heavily armored sniper. But the thing is its DPM is so low that it can't really perform the sniping capacity, because the enemies get back into cover before you can fire off another round. And its armor is very defeatable by premium rounds. And what do they do to fix that problem? They do nothing. They just reskin a tier 8 tank and say, hey, you don't like your E50M anymore? Buy this premium tank. And that's what they do. And it's pissing a lot of the community off, and they're losing their veteran players. And they've said it before, us veteran players are more important than the new players. Because new players can come and go and come and go and come and go. But if they lose us veteran players who have been playing for 3, 4, 5 years, for me almost, that means they're going to lose most of their community. Because like I said, new players can come and they can go and they can come. I was one of those ones who, for example, on mobile, when World of Tanks Blitz came out, I was one of the ones who downloaded the game and then wasn't really interested in it, and then re-downloaded it, and so on. But the World of Tanks console, I don't know what it is about this game. I hate the game with a passion now. And I'm, like I said, I'm one of those veteran players. I've been playing since about 2015 or 2016, something like that. And I never touched the beta. I got the game just after the beta. And, or at least around then. Or like, I know I got the game around 2015, 2016. So, I can class as a veteran player. And if they're losing their veteran players, that's most of their community. Because at this point in the game, they have so many premium tanks that the game is literally, no joke, balanced around tier 8. There's premium tanks at tier 8 that are really overpowered. I understand that. There are premium tanks at tier 5 that are really overpowered. Panzer 5.4. You know, I can go on and on. But because they're overpowered, there is always that other tank at the standard tier that can perform that same role. So like Panzer 5.4, the tank that can perform this kind of the same role that it has is the Panzer 4H. Although the Panzer 4H carries a derp, you can use a 105 derp or you can use a 75mm. It doesn't quite have the same armor, but it has the same mobility, or roughly the same mobility, it has roughly the same everything. And that can be a really dominant tank in the right position. At tier 8, for example, the Mauerbrecher, the tier 8 German premium heavy tank. Tier 8 German premium heavy tank, yeah. That tank, terrible. I see them nowhere. Ever. But what's a tank that can perform that role? The VK101P. In fact, does it better. And they don't understand that the normal tanks in the game, they don't need to keep adding new premium tanks. If they want to make more money, they could easily buff, like the T-34, Tier 8 American Premium Heavy Tank, or buff the FE4202, or buff the original Type 59. You know, I don't know, the CDC. You know, they could do all this stuff with these tanks, and people are going to buy them. They know people will buy them. And they can do that stuff. They've said it on stream, and like Clone Guy ended up saying, is they have the funding to do it. And normally, the one tank that everybody goes to when they're talking about a terrible nerf and the tank needs to be brought back to life are 2 or 3 different tanks. And they're all at tier 10. The 30B, the E50M, and the IS-4. Now the IS-4 hasn't seen any nerfs. I don't think it's seen any nerfs. I know the 30B got one hell of a nerf, and the E50M didn't get a terrible nerf, but it was still bad enough. So the IS-4, people say, you gotta give it better armor, or you gotta make the armor more usable, you gotta give it a better gun, you gotta give it more DPM, you gotta give it more rounds. And they just don't listen. Like I ended up saying in the video, I think it was stop saying there's Russian bias on console, because there's not. It's like a fly on the wall. They slap it, kill it, get it away, and they throw it out. The E50M needs its DPM brought back up. The AMX-30B, it can keep its DPM where it is. Doesn't matter. Keep the DPM where it is. But it has to get its gun handling that it had. Not only the gun handling, but the accuracy, the aim time, the pen, especially. It has to get all of that stuff back, because it's that kind of stuff that is killing the community. And World of Tanks in 2018 is no longer World of Tanks. It's a whole different ball game now, and I honestly feel when I get on the game nowadays, back when I would get on the game in 2016, 2017, I'd get on and I'd be happy to play. I would be excited to play. Nowadays, I get on and it's dreadful to get on. Because now you've got OP tier 10 tanks, you've got OP tier 8 tanks, you got terrible matchmaking, preferential matchmaking tanks half the time don't even work anymore. I mean, I was in a match just the other day that I was in my M6, I was in the Mutant, and I wasn't in the platoon with anybody, and the Mutant has preferential matchmaking, and what happened? I got a tier 10 match. Because the game is, there's so many people playing tier 10s, and they're doing so many events at tier 10. They're not doing any at tier 8 anymore. Tier 8, tier 6, tier 5, you don't see anything going on there other than, lack of better term, fuckfests. And it used to be a fun game. I used to get on, and I used to get on with one of my friends. You've probably seen him on my channel, or my old channel, before I ended up losing the information for that one. His name was iProBloodman, and his name now is I'm Nerve Jr. Because he has 2 accounts. He has an I'm Nerve, and then he has an I'm Nerve Jr. And I used to get on with him, and we used to be excited to get on. We used to get on, and we used to have fun, actually. And we could still do fairly well. But nowadays, because of what's become of the game, it's dreadful to get on. I mean, the bugs screw you up. I mean, you miss more shots on the move nowadays. Or you miss... In fact, I'd say you miss more shots fully aimed than you do on the move nowadays. You know, I get ghost shells all the time. They said they fixed that. They didn't fix that. You know, they have all these bugs in the game now, and they just keep piling and piling and piling on top of it. And it's not doing the game any good. They think it is, like, here, new content. Everybody's excited, everybody gets on, everybody buys or grinds for the new content. But what do you get for it? You get a couple screams at the TV, possibly a busted controller. You got your parents screaming at you to shut up. You got your girlfriend or boyfriend screaming at you to shut up. You got all this stuff. And that's because they just don't want to fix it. They don't seem to have... They have the capability to fix it, but they don't seem to have the inspiration to fix it. And then that is where Operation Overhaul comes in. We need, as a community, we need to make a stand. We need to show them, yeah, you guys control the game, but we control what you are capable of doing. Because we are the ones who put money into the game. We are the ones who play the game. We're the ones who give feedback. You know, all of this stuff. And what we need to do is, like Clone Guy ended up saying in his video, the next reskin of a tank that comes out, just pass it by. Don't even acknowledge it. There will be people who will sit there and they will buy the tank. There's always going to be that someone who's going to buy the tank, and you'll see them all over the battlefield. But if more of us can sit there and ignore the next tank to come out, they will notice, and they will do something about it. It's guaranteed, because if we leave their game, they are a very, very rich company. They've got a lot of money, and they've got the capability to do amazing stuff with this game, and they can actually make this game fun again. And if we actually sit there and we make a stand and we say, no, we need you to make the game great again, and we don't play, and they start losing more of their veteran players, and their numbers start to dwindle, and they start to go down a lot, they will do something about it, because they do not want to lose their game, because they are a very money-hungry company. And we need to make a stand. And that's where Clone Guy's rules come in. Rule number 1 is watch this video, my video, watch Clone Guy's video, watch anybody's video who has, or watch anybody who's put up a video of this thing. Rule 2, spread the word. Put it on forums, on Facebook pages, on PlayStation messages, on group chats. Get into streams and, you know, talk about it there. Do all of this stuff, and they will notice. They will notice. Rule 3, I forgot what Rule 3 was, but it was along the same lines. But the biggest rule of all is to not show anger towards them, because they don't respond to that. It's been proven. They don't respond to anger. I've tried it. Other people have tried it. I mean, I didn't buy, but I had issues with ghost shells before, and I was having issues with the 4202 before, and that kind of stuff. And they sat there and told me, the playstyle that you're using in the tank, or they essentially made me sound like I was playing dumb, because I was having issues with the 4202. It wasn't fast enough. It didn't have DPM. Tier 6 and Tier 7's tanks could out DPM me. They could out pen me. This kind of stuff. And I was playing the tank 90% of the time as a sniper, and then if I had to, I would be on the front line. And they told me the FE4202 is best played as a sniper. Like, I'm unaware of that. They played dumb with me. And what did they do? They later decided to buff it, because there was then a lot of people complaining about it. And then not only that, it was slightly worse than its PC counterpart, because the PC ended up giving it a buff too. But we need to make a stand. And we need to not show any sort of hostility towards it. Don't get on their forums and that kind of stuff, or on different forums, and like in capitals, start, you know, screaming at them and this, that, and everything else. Just show them that we are sick of this game going down into a hole. Because every patch that they put, update 4.13, once that comes out, if they don't do anything, that's another shovel. That's another shovel of dirt out of the hole. Every new reskin that they throw into the game, that's another shovel of dirt out of the hole. And they've been digging it and digging it and digging it ever since they nerfed those 300, I think, ever since they nerfed those 2 or 310 tanks. They've just been digging and digging and digging, and they're getting to the point that they're almost too deep that they will not be able to get out. It will take a miracle to get out of that hole. And that's what this whole thing is. And we're gonna make a stand, and I think I'm gonna be like the second, third, or fourth YouTuber to make something like this. But we're gonna make a stand, and we are gonna do something, and I want to be one of those voices up front that everybody, or not everybody, knows about, but I want to be one of the ones who helped change the game. And everybody else refer to, you know, different YouTubers and this kind of stuff. And it's us who are going to be the ones to change the game. But I've got about a minute left on this video, but that's that. We got to make a stand, guys. We have to do it, or otherwise this game's going into a sinkhole, and eventually everybody's going to get rid of it, and it's not going to be able to get out of that hole. But that's the video, guys, for today. We're getting to the end of the game here. You've already seen this video up two other different times on the channel. I had the one with the Russian bias, and then I had the one of this game itself. But that's the end of the video. I had nothing to do with the replays, but that's the end of the video, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.